You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on ngscsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis for all things sport. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, iTunes, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, head to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop.
Tonight I will be viewing the 2017 New Japan G1 final between Kenny Omega and Tetsuya Naito.
You know, it's very interesting you mentioned Kenny Omega.
Oh, look at it. Getting on the old Omega train.
It's very interesting you mentioned that because I was listening to a podcast today, my super best friend cast, and they were talking about Street Fighter V.
Yes.
The new character who's coming out in there, and or who's making his first appearance in this version of the game, and that's one Cody Mayer. What's his name? Cody Travers. And they decided to do a live-action trailer, Capcom did. And they got one Kenny Omega to play him in the live-action trailer. And he answers the phone in the trailer, and on the other end of that line is none other than Xavier Woods.
Who I saw at this point 24 in person.
It's magic.
Or as Mike Callibud calls them, the Unicorn Boys.
Oh, they are the Unicorn Boys.
Yes. Her one piece of merch she was allowed to purchase last night. She got her choice of anything under $35. Shit. And she bought a unicorn horn for the New Day.
I'm not surprised. I'm very excited when they're going to break up in 3 weeks now.
You shut your mouth. I don't think they're going to do it in 3 weeks. I don't think it makes sense to do it in 3 weeks.
Oh, come on. When has WWE ever done something that makes sense?
Well, it's just, Money in the Bank, it's a nice pay-per-view. But I want to save that for the big stage. I want to save that for SummerSlam.
Okay.
So, you think about trios especially, they don't stay together for 4 years.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. It's craziness.
But they'll stay together for the All New Sports Shows podcast.
We're a duo.
Yeah, it's true. That's why we lasted this long, because it was just a duo.
It's true, because we refused to ever let Clint on here.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Nick Petrovich had to move to Ohio.
Seriously, he would have been a great number 3.
He was covering Lax today, apparently, according to his Snapchat, and decided to highlight some of the very fun names. And I swear, guys, we'll get to the podcast in just a second here. Let me see if I can go back to his thing here. And
Midwest Lax.
Oh, where is Nick Petrovich on here? Oh God, did he just disappear? No.
He's somewhere in there. Trust me.
This is very unfortunate. Nick, where is Nick Petrovich? There you are, my friend. Okay, what's we got? We got Braden Carroll, Bradyn Carroll. Kyler Charles, that might be my favorite. Kyler Charles.
Emphasis on the KY.
Otto Bergman. Oh, this was a good one. Colin, spelled Kollin.
Jesus God, why do people do this? Why do people do this?
His best one, that according to him, was Griff Lowe. Griff space Lowe.
There are not enough Griffs in this world anymore. That was a man's name from the 80s.
Fred McGriff, he owned it.
I always think about Griff from Griff was Al Bundy's co-worker at the shoe store in Married with Children.
Of course.
Here's Griff. Come on, Griff.
Endorsed by Fred McGriff. Welcome to the Foreign Affair Podcast, episode 212. Not endorsed.
Is it endorsed by Fred McGriff?
It's not. It's not endorsed by Tom Lemansky either.
Hey, Fred McGriff, if you want to, man, we can use a good endorsement from you.
It's true. Hey, what else are you doing right now? We are endorsed by NGSC Sports at ngscsports.com. We never stop. We will have plenty to talk about today. Oh, because, things happened this weekend. So,
sure, you said so.
I don't know. There was a big match on Saturday. I don't know if you heard about it. It took place at Wembley. That was the big one for the weekend. We will be talking a little bit about the league championship final. We will, of course, be reviewing the Champions League final from Kiev from this past weekend. We'll also be doing our Premier League review of teams 15 through 11. Hit the news and notes, the watch for, and the So Raw. So Wes,
what's up?
What's up? We're gonna start in Kiev.
Okay.
That's where we're gonna start it off. We're gonna go to a very interesting and Wes, we talked about our previous lives for a minute as we started this pod. I believe a past me would have considered this a very mysterious Jogo. Because that's about the only way to describe it, I feel. Very mysterious. So Real Madrid, Liverpool, we previewed it last week, of course. Big match in Kiev. 61,000 in attendance. At least 10 of them were actual supporters of the clubs. So that was good to see. First half got started like gangbusters. 20 minutes in, Liverpool was on the attack. They were doing things. They were doing big things. Pinning Real Madrid back. Not able to break through. And then, as he is wont to do, Sergio Ramos happened. And I got to fill in a space on my bingo card where Sergio Ramos does something shitty and doesn't get a penalty for it. Good job, Sergio. Good job. Sergio Ramos hooks Mo Salah's arm, takes him to the ground, leans very awkwardly on that arm. Salah comes up in a bit of discomfort, tries to continue, but a few minutes later, it has to come off with, I believe, what was called a dislocated shoulder, if I'm not mistaken. Comes off. He has to be replaced by Adam Lallana, which obviously, like for like there. Real Madrid has to deal with a little bit of injury problem of their own, as Dani Carvajal also has to come off with a leg injury. He is replaced by everyone's favorite cheese, Nacho Cheese. Nacho comes on for Real Madrid to replace Carvajal in the 37th minute. And then we go to the half, and it's scoreless. So weird first half for the injuries, but otherwise 0-0. Take it to the second half. This is when things started getting really screwy. Loris Karius, as he was known at times this year, the Berlin Wall. I feel like that is finally catching on. Tried to pass out of his area and threw it basically right into Karim Benzema. Karim Benzema plays for Real Madrid, not Liverpool. And the ball ricocheted off Benzema and directly back into Liverpool's goal. 51 minutes, Real Madrid 1, Liverpool 0 in a very mysterious way. But Liverpool responded. They responded very well. They responded like champions do. And just 4 minutes later, off a set-piece corner from Roberto Firmino finds the head of Dejan Lovren, the much maligned Dejan Lovren, who I believe as the song once said, thank God it's them instead of you, put a wonderful header to find Sadio Mane for a short-range shot into the goal. Mane ties it up 1-1, game on in Kiev. And so, as we said earlier, Lallana came on for Mo Salah. Real Madrid got to counter with a guy named Gareth Bale off the bench. We wondered last week if he'd start. He was in form, and Zidane said no, he will not start. But he will come on and score goals. In the 64th minute, Gareth Bale off a cross from Marcelo puts one of the best Champions League goals you will ever see into the back of the net. No chance this time for Karius. 64th minute, Real Madrid retakes the lead 2-1. Madrid would try to pressure Liverpool, but Liverpool would come back into the game. They had a great chance. Sadio Mane found a sight-on goal just outside the penalty area, took a shot, beat Navas, but it goes off the post, goes out for a goal kick, and Liverpool missed narrowly a chance to get back level at 2-2. And then Bale was feeling so nice about 20 minutes later. He said, you know what, I'm just going to take a shot from about 30 yards out, see what happens. Loris Karius attempts to save it. Ball off the hands. Just one of those things, and it finds the back of the net. 3-1. Madrid takes the lead for good. And that about does it. And that's how it finishes. Real Madrid win their third title in a row. Their fourth in 5 years. And I still haven't completely wrapped my head around how it happened. So Wes, I will let you take over for a little bit.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
There's the Arrested Development reference.
I've come to talk with you again.
Yeah.
Where do I begin with this fuck stain of a match? So much talk over the last few seasons of UEFA favoring the Spanish league. And
What?
I can't say that you can really deny it after this match. All right, let's start. Hey, what are we doing, Hollywood? Let's take it from the top. When you wear a $5,000 suit, come on.
I assume that's a Tropic Thunder reference.
It's Joe Bluth. Come on.
Oh, you're right.
Come on. Come on.
There it is.
Guy wearing a $5,000 suit. First 25 minutes of that match, anyone who wanted to say that Liverpool didn't belong here, that Liverpool weren't good enough, that Liverpool couldn't hang with Real Madrid, 25 minutes, Real Madrid shit their pants because Liverpool were coming at them like kamikazes. Mm-hmm. What Liverpool match wouldn't be complete without me saying, they should have had a couple goals on the board. But really, in all honesty, first 20-25 minutes was all Liverpool. They were in the attack. One thing that Liverpool does, we talk about the press. You hear the term a little more in maybe our American sports, our football, our basketball, creating turnovers. Well, that's what Liverpool do so well with their press. Mm-hmm. 15 minutes in, they had already created 6 of those in midfield, which those with Liverpool immediately turn into counterattacks. Mm-hmm. Their best early shot was a shot in the box coming from the right fullback position. Trent Alexander-Arnold hit a screamer. Keylor Navas made a world-class stop on it. Now, he didn't have to go far for it, but the distance and the power that shot came from, it was a great save to keep him off the board.
Hey, we found out later, those are tough sometimes.
Yeah. And with that, there were a couple other attacks where Liverpool had opportunities. they were looking extremely dangerous. One guy who kept it up through the whole match but was going like a rocket from the beginning was Sadio Mane, who has taken, I think, some really unnecessary. I mean, all he did was score 20 goals. Jesus, all you did this year was score 20. What the hell? What was wrong with you? But Liverpool were on the front foot. They were dominant. And then, of course, everything changed on the Sergio Ramos challenge on Mohamed Salah, which if he hadn't made that challenge, we're actually about to have a 4-on-2 off a throw-in where they had made a great move, and we'll never know what would have happened there. Ramos instead decides to armbar Mo Salah, bring him down, and do a roll over top of him. A move that is, let's just name a few organizations real quickly where that move is actually not legal. It's outlawed. The European Judo Federation, it's outlawed. In rugby, it is outlawed. And in Australian rules football, it is outlawed. Now, folks, I am a mere enjoyer of the game of football. But it just seems to me that those three sports that I just named are, infinitely supposed to be a little more physical than the sport that we love and we talk about every week.
Just a little.
If they are illegal, outlawed moves because of how dangerous they are in those sports, I just don't understand how at the very least we couldn't even get a foul called.
Yeah, that was bizarre.
I mean, no red card, no yellow card, not even a foul called on Sergio Ramos as he tries to destroy the shoulder of the guy who has put himself on the worldwide scene this year, Mohamed Salah. Salah gets up, he gives it a great go, but a few moments later off a corner kick, he took another blow to it, went down, and was just unable to continue. And at that point, as the old Stain song says, everything changes. At that point, everything changed mentally, and also how Liverpool had to play the match. We've talked about it. The biggest glaring weakness right now for Liverpool was their depth. We've been talking about it since they sold Philippe Coutinho in January. Did Klopp do the right thing by not replacing him? The wrong thing. And as I've said to you every single time, Ed, it all depends on if that front stays healthy, then who cares? Mm-hmm. And they stayed healthy, relatively healthy, up until 30 minutes into the last match of the fucking season. When Salah went off, Adam Lallana came in, is playing literally, I believe, his fifth game in the calendar year, none of which he's played more than 30 minutes in a match, and had played once in the past, I think, 2 months, and that was on the last day of the season off the bench. Lallana came in, he gave a game effort, but the thing is, Adam Lallana is not a front three player. Adam Lallana is, at this point of his career, he's a midfielder. Mm-hmm. He pressed hard, but without the threat of the outlet of Mohamed Salah, Liverpool became a much different team. Mane played his ever-loving ass off, but we saw that without the threat of Salah going forward, Firmino lost a lot of the room for himself to work. As we said, and what they actually did was they flipped Sadio Mane back to the right side, and Lallana went out on the left. They had totally lost it at that point. There was just no real threat going forward from Liverpool. And, people can say, well, that's what you get for being a one-player team. I don't think Liverpool's been a one-player team all year. But when you're playing a team where determined, hey, this is where we can get them, this is their weakness, which was us springing lightning-quick counterattacks with 2 lightning-quick wingers down each side. And when you take one of those out and suddenly, we got to Mane. I mean, that kind of changes things,
Yeah.
You're not exactly the same team anymore. And you know, that's where it just kind of went to shit for Liverpool. And just to bring it back really quick to Ramos, you know, you got a lot of people, oh, Ramos is a piece of shit. And we've been saying for years the guy's a piece of shit. This is what he does, and this is what I can't understand. This guy, I mean, it's not like, oh my gosh, you know, I can't believe he hurt him. This is the first time he's ever done. No, he does this shit. And he does it intentionally. And people, oh, well, you can't say that he had intent. What I can say is that usually when somebody's falling forward, you know, if I'm falling forward to the ground, I'm going to put my hand out to try to break my fall.
Yeah.
Ramos instead locked his arm onto Mo Salah's. I mean, I don't see how one cannot find intent in it, and that's not from Liverpool shaded glasses. That's from someone who's watched Sergio Ramos do this to people for years.
Yeah.
And don't worry, we'll get into it in just a few more minutes. How he then should have been shown a red card later in the match when he just randomly walked up and elbowed Loris Karius in the face.
Yeah, I've seen that one a lot. That to me is like it's more unclear. I haven't seen a good angle. Now, to be fair, it wouldn't shock me if it was true. It really wouldn't. But
he has a history.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
We saw it 30 minutes before.
That's the reason. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if it was true. It's just on that one, because I saw that pop up on Twitter a bunch. I haven't seen definitively that he hit him yet. Again, wouldn't shock me in the least that he did, and Karius certainly acted like he did. But I'm sorry. Yeah, that can be for later. So Ramos is a piece of shit. There's no defending him.
Yeah, I mean, it's completely bizarre how there's no foul call, there's no card shown, there's no warning, there's nothing to it. And then I also found it very, very fun and very interesting that when Salah was leaving the field, you saw Ramos looking at him and laughing. I mean, Sergio Ramos. How you can ruin what? I mean, this was a match that was billed as being a spectacle.
Yeah.
I mean, it was going to be high scoring. It was going to be up and down. This was going to be a great match.
4-3, I said.
Yeah. I mean, and once Ramos decides that he's going to do a little game, you know, basically you take one of the 2 or 3 most interesting players in the match out of the game. You change the way the other team has to play. And I mean, for what? For Ramos's sake, he didn't give a shit how Liverpool had to play. Hell, that was the best thing that ever could have happened is they get him out. Because then, you know he's not going to hurt you at that point. But very disappointing nonetheless. I was very pleased to see halftime. Very pleased that we were able to get to halftime 0-0 because after Salah came off, Madrid began to run Liverpool ragged. They had opportunities, they had chances. Shockingly, Karius made some really good saves. There was a disallowed goal, which was a very, very good call by the officials. First, Ronaldo was offside, and that was a phenomenal save, phenomenal point-blank save from Loris Karius. And then Benzema headed in. Benzema was actually offsides from the Ronaldo shot. So both were whistled offside, no blood, no foul. We get to halftime, it's 0-0, and now you're just thinking, all right, Reg, go in. We got to figure out what we're going to do. Yeah, hey, just don't let them score in the first 5 minutes. And they did that. They waited till 6 minutes to let them score. And now we get to what will forever be infamous. We will be seeing this for years when we see Champions League highlights or anything. I'm going to say it, the most bizarre goal in Champions League history.
Yeah.
Where Karius picks up the ball and, like he's done 1,000 times, goes to roll it out to, I believe he was. And in all fairness to Karim Benzema looked like he had already seen him do that a few times in the match. So just said, what the hell, I'll stick with it. All he does, he just throws his foot out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wish people say, oh, you know, he was impeding the keeper. I don't think he was impeding the keeper. He wasn't touching him. You know, if Karius just kind of fakes that, then, you know, fakes it or holds on to it for a second, no big deal. He'll back off. But he timed it perfectly, and Karius threw it. I think he must have just hit him so perfectly flush against the foot, there was nothing that could have happened.
Yeah.
You know, let's put it this way, if Liverpool had done that exact same, it would have bounced out of play. And it would just been like, oh, got to be careful, got to watch out. That's what happens if we do that exact same thing. They do it, of course it rolls right into the damn open goal. Now, to address the fact that shouldn't have been a goal because Benzema was offside on the preceding play and play was not blown dead as it should have been. Mm-hmm. Should have been a free kick. So, you know, there's shit goal number one of the match. Because once again, I mean, it's shown, it's quite clear to see watching on TV, watching on replays, Benzema was offside. Had about half a step on the Liverpool defense. Now, of course, the pass never mattered, but still, it's an offside call. Offside wasn't blown, play stays going. Wham, bam, shit happens. So goal number one. I thought Liverpool did a magnificent job after that of coming back and getting that equalizing goal. I think a lot of people were probably thinking, all right, well, here's Madrid building, and instead Liverpool came right back and started attacking. You know, they didn't sit back. They didn't look lost at that time. They come back, they attack, they get the corner. Lovren in a really nice moment beats Ramos to the header. Mm-hmm. I mean, really, Lovren, God, phenomenal header from Lovren. Got up and over, got a shit ton of power on it. And then there's Sadio Mane getting the well-deserved goal for Sadio Mane that he deserved. He put in that match, and the fact that at that point he was our top attacker. He was our top attacker on the night anyway. But you know, he goes in, he gets the goal, and at that point it's like, well, you know, anything's possible here. Isco comes out. Isco, holy man, I mean. I don't feel for Isco, but you're kind of like, shit, man, that dude deserved a goal.
Yeah. Because
he took a really nice volley and caught Karius coming out too far. Karius gets very lucky that ball hits the crossbar and stays out. And at that point, when that happened, I'm like, God, Jesus, this is going to be tough, but maybe we can get this extra time. And then, you know, here was the difference between the two teams. As you said earlier, Liverpool goes to Adam Lallana, who's played once in 2.5 months. And when, you know, when Zidane looks down his bench, it's like, man, I need an attacker. Now, who have I got? Well, I've got Lucas Vasquez. He's fucking great. I've got Marco Asensio. Jesus, he might win a Ballon d'Or one day. I've got Gareth Bale, who, by God, probably – you know, has as much talent as anybody in the world. Who should I go with? So he just gets to throw whoever he wants on there, and he throws on Gareth Bale. And I believe it was 122 seconds on the pitch when Gareth Bale unleashed maybe the most magical shot I've ever seen in the Champions League.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
And here's, oh God, when you go back and look at it as a Liverpool fan, here's what drives you crazy. It's the fact that we did everything right. We had just cut off an attack. Mane was out on Marcelo. Marcelo goes for the cross. Mane got a piece of the ball. Mm-hmm. Mane got a piece of it. It's like, you know, you're not getting in. I think 98 out of 100 players in the world just let that cross go because it's so far behind them and just see what happens next. Unfortunately, I think the two people that could get to that ball were both wearing white for Real Madrid that day. That's Ronaldo and Gareth Bale. Bale unleashes that long body of his, gets a foot on it absolutely perfectly, and puts it somewhere. I mean, you can't put a lick on Karras for that. I mean, no keeper in the world's getting to that ball.
Yeah.
It was that perfect. And Bale puts it in, and suddenly it's 2-1, and you're sitting there like, Jesus Christ. It's like, no doubt they get this off the fucking bench. When we're looking at our bench, we're like, well, wonky over there. Shit. After that, Liverpool, I thought Liverpool put in a great effort. After that, it was just at that time, Madrid, you talk about the experience factor, and been there, done that before.
Yeah.
And that's where I think once it was 2-1, that's where it really took over for Madrid, because they knew how to keep the ball away from us just enough. They knew how to nick balls. They knew how to do little things. Ramos, the master of the dark arts, or whatever we've said about him, he's shit, but the guy knows how to fuck with people. Somehow he gets a yellow card drawn on Sadio Mane.
Yeah, that was
on a play where I didn't really think Mane made very much contact at all, which only served to fuel our anger even more. Because it's like, oh, okay, so this guy goes like full Brock Lesnar on our player, and then he gets kicked on the back of the foot and gets a card drawn on our guy for it. That's fucking great. They went into their little bit of time waste Seattle match. And then kind of the final kick in the balls, as you said, Gareth Bale from 30, I think it was actually about 40 yards out.
Yeah.
He just kind of takes a shot, which Bale for anything the way that shot was going in. And all Loris Karius did was get hit directly in the hands. And instead of catching the ball, punching the ball, parrying the ball, knocking it down, instead of doing anything productive with it, it bounces right off his hands and goes into the... Oh, man. And at that point, I mean, you were already sort of in that place. You're like, damn it, it's going to take a miracle. At that point, it was over. You knew it was over. We knew it was over. It was extremely disheartening at the end of the day. Now, I'll say for the longer part of the game, that said, I thought they were the better team because they took out our best player, because while he was a better team. But, of course, we've talked about before, the better team doesn't always. The team that plays the best football on the day doesn't always. And at the end of the day, Madrid did what they had to do. They got a wonder goal from Gareth Bale, and they got two of the biggest gifts you will ever see in the Champions League final. And had no yellow cards shown to him. Nothing of that sort.
So there is something I didn't realize I knew about Liverpool until I started watching something completely different about 2 days ago. No, it was yesterday, actually.
Okay,
I was watching a VOD review, video on demand review, of a game from the 2018 midseason invitational of League of Legends between the championship series between Kingzone Dragon X out of Korea and RNG out of China. And Kingzone picked a team that was, in League of Legends, would be considered a pure early game snowball comp. They have a top laner that all they want to do is get kills on them. And at that point, once you hit the mid-late game, they can just take out anybody. They're golden. Same with their mid laner. Same sort of with their bot lane. They needed to snowball the game early and be in complete control by 20 minutes. Because if they weren't, even if it was even by like 30, 35 minutes, even if they were slightly ahead at that point, because of the way the other team drafted their composition, they would be favored in the late game because they would be better at 5-on-5 team fighting. To this, Liverpool is that early game snowball team, especially when they play teams that are equal or above them in skill. It is what they did against Manchester City. It is what I believe they tried to do here against Real Madrid. It is what they even did against Tottenham back at Anfield a couple months ago. And what happens is when it works, it looks like it did against City. Even in the second game at Anfield, or the first game at Anfield, and then the Champions League, obviously. They get a bunch of early goals, and then they steamroll, and they're good. There's almost no coming back. They tried it against Tottenham, and even though they went into the half 1-0 up, because they hadn't gotten far enough ahead, Tottenham's late game pressure was strong enough to come back and almost potentially win the game. Especially, basically up into the first Kane penalty, Tottenham had wrested control of the way and was winning the late game. And I think that's what Liverpool tried to do here against Real Madrid. And for the first 20 minutes, they were doing it. And maybe if Mo Salah had stayed healthy the entire match, they might have succeeded in it. And I also don't think it was the wrong thing to do. Because with the additions you talked about, Real could bring off the bench. If it got to late game, like 70, 75 minutes, and it was 1-1 still, like it happened, Real Madrid would be favored because of the fresh bodies they could bring on. So Liverpool had to go early and snowball the game. And they weren't able to. Even if Liverpool had gotten to the half 1-1, or even 1-0 up, I don't think it would have been good enough. I think they needed to get into the half up multiple goals. And unfortunately, because of what happened to Salah, they just weren't able to do it. And so they had chances. But once Salah went down, as you said, the momentum completely shifted at the end of the first half towards Real Madrid. So I think they had the right game plan. I think they executed it well. I think you could tell the toll it took, especially once they were down 2-1. I think Liverpool looked very tired. I think we finally saw a team that had been playing with such shallow depth for this long of a season. And I think that it all came back to bite them. If they had snowballed the game early, if they had gotten 2-3 goals and gone into the half up 3-0, I think Liverpool would have cruised to the win. I honestly don't think, even with what Real Madrid could have brought off the bench, I don't think they would have come back. Liverpool played for the early game, and it almost worked. Hell, if Alexander-Arnold gets his goal, maybe the game is completely different. But it's just a shame that Liverpool executed their game plan well, but just didn't do it well enough to win. And again, that doesn't even take into account the freak shit that happened in the second half. But I will say, I think Liverpool had a very good game plan. I think Real Madrid didn't. I think their decision to play Isco, especially very centrally, made them very narrow. And if Liverpool had stayed healthy, I think it would have caused a whole lot more problems for them on the wings. I think that was a tactical misstep from Zidane to do that. And go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I say especially what you were saying. They were so narrow early. I mean, Trent and Salah were just running roughshod over Danny Carlson's side. I mean, and as you were saying, plan, and you know how it is being a Liverpool fan. We play that somewhat similar style of football, and it's one of those where you can almost taste goals coming. Mm-hmm. You're like, okay, we're getting there, we're about to explode. And I think Liverpool were at that point where they could feel the goals were coming. Mm-hmm. It felt like they could smell it. Liverpool smelled blood in the water on Madrid, and there was literally one way to stop it, and that's exactly what Ramos did. Yeah. He found the one way to stop it was to debilitate. We say cut the head off the snake. Well, we don't mean literally cut somebody's head, but that's basically what he did, pretty much cutting Mo Salah's shoulder off. So, I mean, I heard the question today. They said I'm gonna give you three options. about Sergio Ramos. One, he did nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with Sergio Ramos. Two, he's a gigantic piece of shit. Three, he's a gigantic piece of shit, but you want him on your team. And, that is the... Sergio Ramos is a fantastic footballer. He is... A lot of people call him, he's the best defender in the world. And if he would just play football, I think people would be like, my God, he's so damn good. But the problem is he does this shit.
24 red cards in his career.
And it's ridiculous. And then UEFA goes back and, we're not to them. They've looked at it. They see what happened. And they're not even going to do anything to him now. I think it's a fucking disgrace. I'm so over UEFA at the moment for this shit. You've got all these officials in there. And, Ed, I think I said last, they don't like to give, I believe there's been one red card maybe ever in a final of the Champions League. Mm-hmm. If that. You literally almost got to kill someone, I think, to get a red card. Well, Ramos almost didn't even get a foul call. I just can't go back to that as many times as I can. That they didn't even call a foul on the guy. And God, we thought FIFA had the corruption bad.
Well, and going back to that question, he's a piece of shit, but you want him on your team.
I don't agree with that personally.
I don't either. I think he's an embarrassment. Just like last year in the final, I mentioned this, I think, to Arlo White on Twitter. Last year in the final, when he got Cuadrado sent off for barely touching him and collapsing in a heap. And he almost kind of did the same thing to Mane. I think the Mane was a little more obvious of a foul, probably maybe not a yellow card, but I think there was a foul there. Cuadrado barely touched him, and he acted like he had been shot in the face. He's dirty. He's dirty. I don't think anyone who genuinely cares for football should like that. And look, it's one thing. Look, Dele Alli has his issues. I get that. He does need to cut the diving shit. He doesn't do it on the other end though. And also when he dives, it's pretty fucking obvious, and referees know this, and they don't usually give him a penalty for it. But he doesn't also then stamp on players. He doesn't do what Ramos did. I think that's the difference. Dele Alli can kind of be an asshole, but I want him on my team. Sergio Ramos is a fucking cunt. And I don't care if he's one of the best defenders in the world. I wouldn't want him anywhere near my team.
Well, and I'll throw this in because I'm here's the difference. I remember in the pub the other day who were completely, who cares because he's a winner? Who cares? He's a winner. That's what you need. You need winners. And, as someone who, I supported Luis Suarez while he was at Liverpool. I don't think I ever made excuses for Luis Suarez biting anyone.
No. We had that podcast.
Yeah, he did it. He did what he did, and you know what? And that's the thing about Liverpool fans, because somebody was saying, English radio, well, you Liverpool fans are getting all pissed. What if next season Milner or Henderson goes in for a tackle on Wilfred Zaha? What are you going to say then? I'm going to say that I don't think James Milner's trying to break anybody's leg.
That's first, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going in there saying I don't. Jordan Henderson is trying to. I don't think Jordan Henderson's trying to break his ankle. With Ramos, I think I'm just at a point now. If Ramos does hurt someone, I can't even believe that he does it accidentally.
Check the tapes. That's what you say. Like, it's what do we say now? I have the receipts.
Yeah.
I have the receipt. Ramos is dirty. Here's the receipts from it.
Exactly. I mean, there are so many, and it's not just like, it's not just a stamp or something, which, don't get me wrong, stamps are bad. But it's not even just that, which he's done that plenty of times.
Well, and hey, I mean, to put it on another Liverpool player, Steven Gerrard, on his final match at Manchester United, stamped on a guy and went off within 30 seconds of coming on the pitch. I don't think Steven Gerrard is dirty. I think that was stupid and terrible that he did that, but I don't think Gerrard's dirty. He doesn't have a track history of it.
Yeah, guys do stupid things. I mean, we're not taking that away. There are plenty of guys who do stupid things and get themselves sent off. But when you've got you can do an entire highlight film of just Ramos hurting players. I mean, what am I supposed to think?
Yeah.
Oh, I bet he didn't do it. And then he comes back later and throws. I mean, it's just, the guy's a great player. Yes. Is he, as a pure defender, I would take him any day of the week.
Mm-hmm.
But for that streak, I mean, where you're out there trying, fuck you, man. I don't want you anywhere around me. I understand winning is what matters at the end of the day. Matter. But at some point, there's got to be just a small spot where, doing the right thing matters.
Mm-hmm.
And for Ramos, he's shit. He's shit as a human being. I would absolutely love. My God, someone in Egypt started a petition to sue the guy because they feel that he fucked Egypt over in the World Cup. Even though, just a quick update on Salah, it came today the Egyptian FA is saying they expect back for the second group match.
Yes, against
it was not a separated shoulder there, saying it was some ligament damage, but that hopefully he should be back for the second match of the World Cup. But still, I mean, when you're guaranteed 3 matches at the World Cup and now you've missed a third of them already, I mean, that's not fair. Oh, and guess what? Ramos is going to be right at the back for Spain. He has no issue. I did enjoy the Liverpool fan who said, the next thing that should have happened, he said because Jordan Henderson should have, cut his fucking foot off. that should have happened within 2. Ramos should be bleeding and screaming on the ground because your captain took his ass out. But
real quick, I do want to say, if Egypt can rebound and crazy things happen, this could happen. Spain wins Group B, and Egypt finishes second in Group A.
Which is probably Egypt's best finish if they can pull it off. So.
That would be a round of 16 matchup.
Oh my God, people would be, everyone would have their eyes on that.
So,
I mean, who the hell would have thought Spain Egypt would have been in a match? And just go ahead. I mean, Spain's going to beat them, but Jesus, will someone take revenge on Ramos for Salah? That would be, oh my God. If an Egyptian player would do that, I hope he would go sign him just for the fact that he did it.
All right, let's wrap up Champions League talk with, and we kind of have to bring up Ramos again here, because he didn't just take down Liverpool players. Oh no, he also took down some of his own players, because after the match, both Gareth Bale and Mr. Invisible Cristiano Ronaldo, who I just went back and while you were talking about earlier, your recap, and I watched Bale's goal. There's one person who was very noticeably not in the pile celebrating with him after that goal. That was one CR7 who was who is not there. Both of them, though, intimating a little bit that their time at Real Madrid may be coming to a close. Bale all but yelling into the camera, Premier League team, please come get me. And Ronaldo sort of saying the same thing, which, of course, Ramos caught wind of. And I said, whoa, that's not the time to do that. You can't do that. You got to work with us, man. Shut the fuck up, Ramos. Anyway, so this is now a semi-big development that one or both of them may be leaving the team. I think Gareth Bale's probably gone. I don't think Ronaldo's going to leave, though. I would be pretty shocked if he moved.
So many things about all.
Because of course Real Madrid isn't happy after winning a third straight title to just have won. No, of course we can't enjoy. This is why we can't have nice things. I'm sorry.
Well, and I'll give it to Bale. I think truthful and forthright. I mean,
yeah.
He scores 2 goals. He scores the winner. I mean, Bale's been just once Bale got healthy, he's been and Zidane decided to play him. He's been fantastic.
And I want to say the quote was something along the lines of, "I need to play every day, and that's not happening here right now."
Yeah, and he's absolutely. I mean, he's absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. And for whatever reason, don't get me wrong. I mean, hey, I think Zidane knows what's best for his squad. And if he just doesn't see Bale as being an everyday guy, I'll give it to Zidane as the manager to come up with that. The only problem for Gareth Bale trying to get out of is, there is an extremely small number of clubs for Gareth Bale. Now, of course, whenever you bring up England, he turns to Manchester United. Mm-hmm. And I think if United had not done what January, I think the biggest home run out there that they could do. But the problem was you just went out in January and while it was only pretty much a swap in way of the transfer fee, I think United still had to pay some money. Mm-hmm. They had to pay you're paying this guy £500 million a week. $500 million. I mean, they're paying Alexis Sanchez like $5. Mm-hmm. And he plays the same position of Gareth Bale. You've gone out and gotten the big money winger that you wanted. And I don't see. I mean, once again, I think they've got the money to, but you're talking about Gareth Bale wants. What are you gonna do? Bench Alexis Sanchez?
Yeah. And
pay him £500 million a week, or $500,000? God, yeah, I can't count. Never mind, $500,000.
It's fine.
Million with it in 1 billion, cajillion, trillion. But yeah, anyway, I mean, you're paying a week. Where are you going to bench him? United, basically, this is what they've wanted for. Mm-hmm. And now, when he's finally available in the last 5 months, they backed themselves into a corner where I don't think they can go get him. So now here's my question for Bale. Where else the hell are you going to go? Because, Madrid's not going to say, oh, you want to leave? Okay, we'll let you go for No, Madrid's going to want top dollar. And then Gareth Bale ain't exactly going to go play for £100,000 a week. Mm-hmm. No, he's going to want top dollar. Who can afford the guy? City can. Why? On God's green earth would Pep go get Gareth Bale at this point? Yeah. That doesn't work with what he's doing. Mm-hmm. That doesn't work for City. Okay, City can pay for it. Well, how about PSG? Fuck, PSG they don't know what the hell they're going to be able to do this. I mean, they might end up having to not be able to take on Mbappe at this point.
Mm-hmm.
They can't go get Bale. I mean, unless they sell Neymar, Bale, but shit, who wants to do that? There was talk that, maybe he could go to Bayern Munich. Munich has a lot of money, but Munich kind of. I mean, I've just kind of named about everywhere that can Bale. I mean, Liverpool ain't paying that kind of money for Gareth Bale. Spurs, apparently it's already been kind of talked about the fairy tale of going back to Spurs. That ain't going to happen.
No.
Not for the money. Not for that money. Certainly not with Daniel Levy controlling that money. I mean, Chelsea's out there, but it looks like Chelsea the money spending, and they don't have Champions League. I gave myself a good laugh there.
That was funny.
Yeah, I mean, so there's your. I mean, to me, there's one Premier League team that would be attractive to him, and that would like that. Like I said, they've got Alexis Sanchez now. I don't know where he goes. He's not going to Barcelona. I mean, the one thing I could maybe think is, maybe somebody takes him on loan for a season with an option to buy.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, if I'm Zinedine Hilda, I don't play him every day. But shit, I mean, this is a guy can bring on the Champions League final. He scores a golazo and then gets a double. Aren't many guys who are coming off the bench scoring goals in a Champions League final. And also, Madrid are going to sit there. I mean, Madrid are not exactly trying to pick in their squad.
Yeah.
So, that's the thing. When guys okay, well, it's not quite as easy as that all the time. We may think it's that easy. It's not quite that easy. It's really not. So, I don't know about Bale. As for Ronaldo, I literally think Ronaldo just does things now to make sure he's the center of attention.
Yeah.
I think he has no, and then he's come out and said he will make an announcement the second. Because, he said something to him, but that wasn't about it. But I just want to throw it out there on my team that I'm not happy. But we'll talk about it later. Don't worry. Don't you hate that when when your wife or your girlfriend says, "Look, we need to talk." That's always bad to hear to start with. We need to talk, and then you're like, "Okay, what's up?" Well, don't worry about it. We'll talk about it next week. Wait, what the fuck?
No.
What do you mean we'll talk about it next week?
Now.
You've got my damn heart. You've got my damn heart pounding right now. What do you mean? Just wait a week and we'll talk about it. But that's what Ronaldo's done. Ronaldo has 3 years left on his contract. Ronaldo's making a shit ton of money, but here's the thing: Ronaldo is not making Neymar. And and of course, then Neymar's come out and said, "This isn't about money. How much you want to bet within the next few weeks?" We see he gets a contract extension and suddenly is making a lot more money.
What?
But that said, that brings up the next question: if you want to go, I mean, looking at him, he had a nice little run into the season. Ronaldo did not have a vintage great Ronaldo season.
Mm-hmm.
He was shut the fuck down in the final.
Yeah, he was
by a 19-year-old.
I believe I texted you. I was like, Salah and Ronaldo could have just missed their flights to Kiev, and both teams would have been about the same. So,
I mean, at least Salah was at least he was a.
Yeah.
I mean, at least he was involved in something major in the match.
At least he'd still be healthy for Egypt.
I mean, when Trent Alexander-Arnold, the 19-year-old who. I mean, when he walked into the locker room after the match and took off his playing shorts, he suddenly found Cristiano Ronaldo down there. He had him in his pocket, baby. One of my favorite plays of the match was late on when it was 3-1 and Ronaldo was desperately trying to get that goal so it could still be all about Ronaldo. And the fan ran on the field.
Yeah, I saw that.
And basically screwed up Ronaldo's chance to score a goal.
I did.
That
Because
was
you could tell as the game went on, especially after Bale scored, it was every time Ronaldo gets the ball, it's how can I get myself a shot on goal?
Oh, yeah.
And that last time was the absolute best, and I was like, this motherfucker's going to make it 4-1. I just know it. And then the fan comes on the pitch.
Oh, that was so great in Super Motor.
Oh, it was amazing.
And then he had another one where Andy Robertson just took it right away from him. Yeah. Which was really nice.
Oh, yeah, when he came in from behind, made the really great tackle. That was amazing.
Yes, yeah. Ate his shit up. That was great. Yeah, I want to throw out for because, you talked about it last week, even with your 4-3 scoreline. Man, how good was Liverpool's back four?
Really good.
And that is crazy to say when they, quote, gave up 3 goals. Mm-hmm. But obviously 2 of those goals were direct on the keeper. I mean, there was what could anyone have done about it? I mean, that was straight up on Loris Karius. And, I mean, I guess you could say, well, maybe they should have been a little far. Bale just making it a world-class all-time play. Mm-hmm. I didn't think there was much anyone could have done with that. Mm-hmm. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Andy Robertson, those were the 2 weak points, supposed to be the 2 weak points for this Liverpool squad. As I said, Trent Alexander-Arnold dominated Cristiano Ronaldo. Andy Robertson was maybe Liverpool behind Sadio Mane and another. Robertson was probably our best player on the field on the night. Mm-hmm. And then in the middle, Virgil van Dijk was really good. I mean, he was his normal. He was a 7 of 10. He was where he normally is. Dejan Lovren may have been our best player. Lovren was magnificent on the night. If that's the thing, that's what drives crazy about Dejan Lovren, is you see him do that. When Bale had a late one. I mean, Lovren put in maybe one of the most perfect tackles you'll ever see to get the ball away from Bale late. That's what drives you crazy about Dejan Lovren, is that he can look so damn good there, and then he'll cock up, and then what happened against Spurs happened. Yeah. And it's just like, who is this man, and what have you done with Dejan Lovren? But I thought, I mean, I have a feeling that with a full preseason ahead of them, I believe Liverpool. Now they still will obviously get to the signing they've made a little later, and there still needs to be some more depth signings at the back. I think Liverpool have the makings of a really good defense. Need a keeper too. but I think Liverpool have the makings of a really good defense. I think right now by far their best partnership is Van Dijk and Lyle. And if the world had doubts about those 2 fullbacks, I think they grew up that night in Ukraine, and everybody on earth saw that those 2 can play.
Well, then I guess
I was so high on Liverpool's defense coming out of that match, and that was with 3 goals against us. But that group was they were fantastic.
Well, then I guess we have to end with, does Karius ever play a match for Liverpool again?
Here's my thoughts on it. I think a lot of managers, I think if it was a lot of other managers, the answer would be no. I think Jurgen Klopp, there's a few different things here that pertain to Jurgen. One, he is incredibly stubborn and stands by his players. I think that's going to be a chance for Karius. The fact that this was kind of Klopp's chosen keeper. Mm-hmm. I mean, for 2 years he's been trying to get him in there.
Yeah.
One come hell or high water. I think it would be very unpopular for Karius to go into the season as the number one.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I think it would not be very Klopp-like for him to have that kind of a night. Basically, I mean, you think about this for Loris Karius, sometimes we overblow things. This night will follow Loris Karius for the rest of his life.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, we're going to be watching Champions League shows in 40 years, and it's going to be like Champions League blunders, and he's going to be number one on it. Probably forever. and it will be the combination of the two. But Klopp is one of those who I don't think, especially with Karius being a young German, I think that helps him as well. And the fact that, Klopp praised, his willingness to work and to accept criticism and do things. I believe we're going to spend big on a goalkeeper in the next month. I do not believe Karius is going to come in as our number one. I could see Karius playing cup competitions next year, though, for us. I think he will play for Liverpool again. I believe it'll maybe be like the League Cup, maybe the FA Cup, because I do think Liverpool are going to go out and spend big on a keeper. I think they're going to try to get either Oblak. Donnarumma's name has been thrown out. A name I've seen is Jasper Cillessen, who's the backup keeper right now at Barcelona behind Stegen. The Dutchman Cillessen, he's the Dutch number one keeper. I'm really hoping this whole Jack Butler, which is crazy because 18 months ago, get Jack Butler. I think at this point, I don't think he's good enough. But I think Liverpool are going to end up with one of those four keepers I just named, which will make Karius the backup keeper next year. But I think Loris Karius will be back at Liverpool. I do believe he will play again.
All right. Well, we will find out. And as the transfer window is about to be upon us, things will be getting very crazy. Yeah.
And don't you try to take this from me. It is here. It's my favorite time of year.
I know. So that just took us, kind of over an hour to do. As the Champions League finals should. So it's done. The 27-18 season is now done. It's over. 2 months and it starts again. Actually, technically, next year's Champions League, I believe, starts in like 2 weeks.
The really early qualifying stages, I believe they start in July, maybe.
Yeah, let me see when the first round is. Preliminary. The draw date for the preliminary round is June 12th. The first leg is June 26th.
There you go. So, yeah, literally in a month.
Thankfully, we don't have to really care about it. I think until about August. But
no, it won't be that. It'll be September before we have to worry about it because.
Oh, I just meant for the draw. The draw is August 30th. So that is when we have to start caring.
Yeah. We'll probably be keeping our eye on in that last qualifying round. Mm-hmm. But as far as English teams, they're all in this year.
That
works out well for you and I.
That is true. Also, I do believe, and it looks like Wikipedia is confirming it for me, it does look like because of Liverpool's loss, Tottenham is now confirmed to be in pot 2. So that is...
Is Liverpool going to be back in pot 3?
They could be... They are right now in either pot 2 or pot 3.
Yeah.
They would be the first team to drop into pot 3. It looks like. So let me see. If Benfica makes it to the group stage out of the playoff, they have a higher coefficient, so that would definitely drop them. Dynamo Kiev has the same coefficient. I don't know if that'll change or not. But so yeah, if Benfica makes it to the to the group stage, Liverpool drops to group 3. If not, it looks like they stay in pot 2.
Gotcha.
So,
God, wouldn't you hate to be in pot 1 or 2? 13. Considering more than likely it's actually going to be a stronger Liverpool squad next year.
I will also say pot 2 doesn't look amazing. It doesn't look like super hard. Right now it's Dortmund, which who knows how they're going to be next year. Porto, United, Shakhtar, Napoli, Tottenham, most likely Roma, and then probably Benfica. That's it's a good squad of teams, but it's not like this year when you had Real Madrid in pot 2 and clubs like that. Or actually, no, it wasn't Real Madrid. Was it Atletico?
Tottenham in pot 2, right?
No, I think we were in pot 3 last year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Let me see. I think I have it here. What do we have? Shit. Do I not? Fuck you. You will tell me this, Wikipedia. Pot 2. Oh, pot 2 was Barcelona, Atletico, PSG, Dortmund, Sevilla, City, United, and Porto. That was last year's pot 2.
Oh, man.
So.
Yeah, that was pretty solid.
Yeah. Oh boy. So that we will get to that though in late August. Don't you worry. So from now this to the richest match in the world, which was amazing football. Aston Villa 0, Fulham 1. Tom Carney for Fulham with the match winner in the first half after getting a Ryan Sessegnon cross, which hopefully this means, hey, Fulham, I know you're coming up, but still want to get rid of Sessegnon, right? Right, guys?
That's going to be the interesting part now is what do they do? What do they hold on to?
Fulham actually ended the game down 10 men with Dennis Odoi going off after a double yellow. Villa had a few penalty appeals but could not get an equalizer. Jack Grealish had a great game but could not lead his team to back up to the Premier League. Also came out today that John Terry and Aston Villa have decided to part ways. Which made me so happy.
John Terry said, fuck another year. My question is, who the fuck do you think is going to sign you to the Premier League, old dude?
Watford.
You know what? And to me, I thought it was justification after Terry had come out saying, well, we play against Chelsea. So, okay, don't worry about it, pal. No problem.
Oh, man. We love John Terry here. We love him so very much. So anyway, Aston Villa goes back down to the Championship. Fulham comes up. Craven Cottage will be in the Premier League once again. So good for you, Fulham. You guys did the thing. So once again, it'll be Fulham, Wolverhampton Wanderers, and Cardiff City coming up to the Premier League to replace Swansea, Stoke, and West Brom. There we go. Did it from memory. Good job by me. So we were going to do Premier League review 15 to 11. We'll do that next week. It's fine. Those teams aren't going anywhere. So let's hit the news and notes. Wes, this one's for you. Because as you said, Premier League transfer windows have already opened. Why don't you take this one away?
Well, when we say already open, nothing officially opens until I guess that's when they can officially sign with their new teams. But Liverpool, 2 days after the heartbreaking Kiev, I think it's fair to say Liverpool have stolen a step on some of the world's elite by signing Fabinho from Monaco. Mm-hmm. We've been hearing a lot about Fabinho spring cycle, and a lot of people had him pegged for PSG or Manchester United. And apparently Liverpool, apparently from the word I got on it, the word I got it.
Yes, you
Mr.
doing
Insider
that
I am.
research.
Yeah, doing that research. Monaco had determined early on that Fabinho would be a player that, not because of a drop-off in play, actually had a great season for Monaco, but just the fact that, the small price they had paid for him, that they believed that his value was going to be very high this summer. And, he'd be a player they could sell out to help balance their books. That's kind of a deal with Monaco is they've got money, but due to the financial fair play they bring in, they're kind of hamstrung on how much they can spend. So Fabinho, I think it was kind of known, jumped into this contest early for him. He had the infamous, or I wouldn't say infamous, but he had the now somewhat legendary meeting with Klopp that everyone's been talking about, those meetings. He got the Klopp seal of approval. And what I heard was after he met with Klopp, he called his agent and said, I don't want to meet with anybody else. I want to go. If they can hash it out, that's where And on Monday afternoon, this was the best part to me, Ed, because, of all these long transfer dealings that go on, I saw something on, it was Facebook or Twitter at about 3:30 saying that Liverpool were in for Fabinho. Mm-hmm. And my first thought was, I believe it. And then 45 minutes later, at LFC, which is the official Liverpool, the official Liverpool Twitter, they've got a video up, and you're seeing Fabinho wearing a kissing the badge, and it says "Welcome to Liverpool." It's like, wait a damn minute, did we just sign somebody in fucking 45 minutes? Because everything takes forever now, right? We've been hearing Nabil Fekir for the last month now, and that's nowhere near to being done, apparently. But yet we hear Fabinho's name at 3:30, and by 4:30, we see a picture of him signing a contract. Now, officially signing a contract, however you. But Liverpool moved quickly. They moved under the radar. They identified a player, and he's a central defensive midfielder. He's a number 6, which Jordan Henderson has been playing, but Jordan Henderson's not totally a number 6. Fabinho's going to be the guy now to sit in front of our defense. Can play a few different positions with Big B Jurgen Klopp. Klopp loves guys who are flexible, can do things. He's played right back at Monaco. He's played as an attacking midfielder at Monaco. He has really good playmaking abilities, but he's got some steel. He's got some grit, and that's something Liverpool have been, kind of missing out of their midfield for the last few years. He is somewhat the replacement for Chan coming in, if you want to say that. I think he's a little different player than Chan, though. He's more, focused as well as being a defender. Mm-hmm. I think it's a fantastic sign for Liverpool. It's one we've needed. Everybody's been screaming, need a defensive mid. All right, we got one. Next. So there's still moves that need to be made. The latest rumor coming out is that we're now back in for Thomas as well as Fekir. I gave you the 4 big goalkeeping names earlier to keep your eye out for. I'm happy. Hell, man, the quicker you can get guys in, especially this summer with the World Cup coming up, the faster you can get them in, the better. So Liverpool have kind of struck first here in the transfer window. Start.
And speaking of the World Cup, Fabinho not going to the World Cup with Brazil.
Right.
So he will be already heading in along with Naby Keita, who will also not be to Russia. So they will be going ahead and heading to. So
two-thirds of Liverpool's new field are already in. So let's see if if Nabil Fekir comes in, you could see a completely different starting 11 midfield for Liverpool this season.
Speaking of another Premier League team, who we thought last week already had their manager situation sorted out, Chelsea. Maybe not. Napoli manager Maurizio Sarri was looking to come to Chelsea. Chelsea sounded like last week that they had met his release clause from Napoli, which I believe was about £7 million. And then it comes out about 2 days ago that Chelsea's talking to Laurent Blanc, formerly of PSG, to come in and be the coach. It looks like, I don't know if it seems Chelsea just don't want to pay the release clause. Some have said that the release clause actually expires on Thursday, which is, if you're listening to this today. So I guess we'll see there, but I saw a lot of praise in the article I read for Laurent Blanc in his time at PSG, which is, hey, he's tied for the most major trophies in Europe's top 5 leagues won, West, since 2013-14. He's tied with great one-team league coaches like Unai Emery, Massimiliano Allegri, and Pep Guardiola. Laurent Blanc's a great manager. He won titles at PSG. What's not to love?
Yeah, that doesn't get you fired there.
Yeah.
Well, it's really interesting what's going on now. Napoli have pretty much introduced Ancelotti as their new manager.
Yeah.
But that said, they still have Sarri under contract.
Mm-hmm.
Chelsea are flirting with everybody, yet still technically have Conte under contract. Conte's still the manager.
Yeah.
I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, right now, Arsenal are looking pretty damn healthy compared to what Chelsea's doing right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Arsenal, at least they went. I don't know if Chelsea know what they want. They don't know if they want to keep the guy they got, get rid of the guy they want, find somebody else. I don't know what they're doing in Chelsea. I'm not saying I'm disappointed by it by any means. Personally, I don't think Laurent Blanc is the guy to come in and restore the glory to Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, who knows? I might be wrong, but I just don't see Blanc being that guy. So I don't know, man. Another just weird update in the whole Chelsea thing. But you wonder about Sarri, who's sitting there right now. Well, they've already successor. Shit, now he does. Is he gonna have a job to go to?
Yeah, that's terrible. You take Napoli to second in Serie A. You nearly dethrone Juventus, and now all of a sudden you kind of don't have a job.
Yeah, I mean, not officially, but pretty much.
Yeah.
And unless something else opens up. Now, Chelsea's the last big job available at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would assume at this point, after what just transpired, that Zidane's going to be staying at Madrid. I mean, that's been one we've been hearing all year.
Mm-hmm.
Assume he's going to be back. I mean, who else wants to hire a guy who's won 3 straight champions? other than Florentino Perez.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's still some dominoes to go around. Someone else opens up. I don't know what old Sarri might do. He might just have to go chill with Conte for. Hey, maybe they can take the Italy job again.
Yeah. Yay. No, what's his face?
Well,
took that.
Somebody's got it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you fire him for Conte? I mean,
no, a reuniting of Pellegrini and Balotelli. Are you kidding? Oh, it's too good.
Oh, Pellegrini. Oh, not Pellegrini. Mancini. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, wait a minute. Pellegrini's at West Ham.
They're the same person.
No. Mancini had this beautiful, beautiful scarf.
Yeah, that's true.
Beautiful scarf. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens to that. I mean, literally, I'm not even trying to predict what's happening at Chelsea anymore.
I feel like this can't be the answer because I feel like the situation has gotten so damn toxic. But at this point, are Chelsea almost better sticking with Conte?
I just don't think it can happen. I mean, I think if Conte stays, you're going to have to. I mean, Willian has already said if you bring him back, and I think there are other guys who agree with him on that.
Yeah.
I mean, we almost had a mutiny in Chelsea this season.
Yeah, we have a mutiny in Chelsea like every other year.
Yeah, it kind of happens. And what they do, they give a new coach. So.
Which is the bizarre thing. It's like these players, the Willians, the Hazards, even Courtois to an extent. Like, Costa was also this way. Now he's gone. These are the people that keep having problems with the managers that are brought in. So it's either Abramovich either needs to find a new style of manager to bring in, or maybe it's not the manager that's the problem. Just gonna throw that out there.
Well, I think it's easier to find a new manager.
Sure. We always say
and that's that. The thing.
Yeah.
Players have the power now because, I mean, especially Chelsea. I mean, they can't find anyone. I mean, you've already got Eden Hazard under control. You've got him under. You can't just go find somebody else who's going to replace him. So, just an example being Eden Hazard.
You're right. You're absolutely right. So, yeah, fascinating stuff though happening at Chelsea right now. So we'll see when and if they land on a coach. All right, so that's going to do it for news and notes. Wes, let's hit the watch for. What are you watching in the week that was or the week that will be?
Well, as we alluded to very, very much earlier,
yes.
I just finished the remix of Season 4 Arrested Development. Probably when we get off the podcast. So I'm all into my Arrested Development. I've heard mixed reviews on Season 5 so far.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to watch it and make our own review of it because of everyone else.
Of course.
Why the hell would we? We're smarter than them. So I'll check that out. Also, did I think I brought it up after the show that I was going to talk about it this week about the local reality show?
Yes.
Folks, if you turn to TLC on Tuesday nights at 10 o'clock, there's a little show called I think that is a reality couple who have, I believe, 80 animals right now. They have their own little zoo. The animals live inside, and hilarity ensues with the children. Yeah, I know those people very well. They about 3 miles from me. And I've coached baseball with the male lead of the show, Jerry Abrams. I know the kids. One of the youngest kid went to preschool. He's a year older than Callie, but they went to preschool together, and they go to elementary school together now. They own one of 2 restaurants in Pine Tops, not the Chinese restaurant. They own the Abrams barbecue chain, which does have maybe the best cheese biscuits ever. They are extremely good. But they have a show because that's what we needed in Pine Tops, someone with a TV show. So of course. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's fun. It's funny to watch. It's even funnier because I know them and know how they act. It's not really an act. So this week, we haven't been able to watch this episode yet. We're planning to watch it as a and Callie's all excited because the pig is going to have Piggly.
Oh, Piggly.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my watch for.
Let me think about what am I watching. And have you seen Deadpool yet?
Have not, planning to see it. I think I was going to wait for the boy to get out of school so a couple weeks.
Let me see.
Yeah, I was going to take him with me. So
nice. What am I watching in the week that was the week that will be? I don't know. Archer's still really good. It's so different this year, but it's so good. And we're almost done. Tonight's episode was episode 6 of season 9. After tonight, there's only 2 more episodes left this season, and then there's only 1 season left of Archer, and God only knows where they're gonna go from here. I'm going to be very, very curious to see how this season ends, and if they will find a way to jump back to the present, or if they're just going to have season 10 also be kind of random. Like it's very interesting how this show is writing toward its end game. So, very.
I think somewhere it's got to pop in that arc. Right.
Yeah, it has to. It has to.
I mean, that's just what it feels like.
So,
yeah, I mean, do you take it all the way to the end? And that's like the last scene is Archer waking up in a...
Oh, that'd be so weird. But, I mean...
And asking for a drink?
What
house?
Oh, what house? So, yeah, that's still really enjoying Cheryl, whatever her name is now, taking on a very strong role as the local island whore for the German army. But really sticking it to Mallory a little bit. Really like that exchange. And just Archer and Pam's dynamic has been really good this year. So enjoying it. It's very, like I said, very different. Even from last season. Very, very different sort of show. But still very, very, very
So I'm so gonna miss Archer when it's gone.
There will be tears shed next year when season 10 is over.
Oh yeah.
What a show. What a show. But we're not there yet. But we are getting close to the end of SmackDown's time on the NBC family of networks as it's moving to Fox. But in the meantime, Wes, what else is happening in the world of the WWE as we get so raw?
Well, we're on the way right now. We had our final Money in the Bank qualifiers this past week on both shows. Sasha Banks picked up the last women's spot, winning a gauntlet match on Monday Night Raw. And last night in a triple threat main event on SmackDown, which came to you live from Raleigh, North Carolina, with yours truly and the Bullet Baby Girl, Callie, in attendance. Callie's second wrestling show, the first one where she got the... So she went absolutely berserk. Dude, she is great to take to wrestling because she chants the whole time. She doesn't know what she's chanting. The big Rusev Day chant, Callie just turned into a straight up USA chant. She's very patriotic. Of course, she's my child. Why wouldn't she be? She enjoyed doing the chants. She got excited when they came out. That she really enjoyed watching. So she had a great time, and we got to see a really fun main event. It was a triple threat match. Daniel Bryan, Samoa Joe, and Big Cass. Originally, it was supposed to be a one-on-one Samoa Joe and Daniel Bryan, which I'm not going to lie, I was so beyond excited to see, especially in person, because that's one of those WWE rematches that we have. Because the last time those two met one-on-one was 11 years ago in Ring of Honor, and they're so good. Those two are so damn good that we were all looking forward to it. And in the first segment of the night, it really took us in Raleigh. It took us a little bit of time to get back in. Motherfuckers have taken what we all wanted to see tonight. It's like, I don't care if you added someone else. Damn it, we wanted one-on-one Bryan versus Joe. Anyway, it did end up being a very good main event. Samoa Joe ended up kind of out of nowhere to win it. So Samoa Joe got the final spot in the Money in the Bank men's ladder match. What other cool shit do we see? We've got a tag title match from SmackDown coming up at Money in the Bank. It's going to be the Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson, versus the Bludgeon Brothers. Gallows and Anderson and AJ Styles, we only got to see in Raleigh last night, which kind of pissed us all off. See, WWE, even when I'm there live, and still pissing me off over and over. So at least you're not embarrassing yourselves with me, like apparently you did with you.
There you go.
But anyway, I haven't looked into that enough. I'm not really commenting much on that. We're getting that. We saw Nakamura beat Ty Dillinger, and then he cut a promo last night. Styles responded with a promo over the Tron. That's going to be a last man standing match coming up at Money in the Bank. It's going to be really, really fun. I've been somewhat disappointed with this. Once they're punching each other in the dick, that just really got on my last fucking nerve because these two are too good to be doing shit like that.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hoping with Last Man Standing, maybe we'll get something worthwhile out of it. We'll see. Either that or WWE ruin this, which I hope doesn't happen. You mentioned the New Day earlier. They were in action. A chance to see them live last night. They lost a 6-man tag to Miz and the Bar. There are the rumors going around that their breakup could be imminent coming up. If and when that happens, it is going to be sad because, this is a group that's done just such great work together over the last 4 years. And, they've been good guys, they've been bad guys, they've been loved, but they've been entertaining, damn it. If nothing else, they have been damn entertaining. So I'm hoping when they go out, just looking at stuff over on the title match and Money in the Bank on SmackDown is going to be Asuka, Carmella, which on paper looks like such a dominant Asuka night. We'll have to see what happens. Don't forget though, someone will be. Hey, you never know. You might get a cash in that. Who knows? There will be a men and women winner of Money in the Bank. Over on the Raw side, saw a really interesting match Monday night. Braun Strowman and Finn Balor. That's been interesting seeing those two go against each other because they're both baby faces, but also just amazing size disparity between those guys. That's been crazy. We've been doing this Roman Reigns, Jinder Mahal thing now for about a month, which I don't know who's totally interested in that. I just want to throw something out on Roman Reigns. We've been talking about it, man. That character needs a serious overhaul at this point. That's nothing personal against Roman Reigns. From everything I hear, Roman Reigns is like other wrestlers talking about, oh, hell yeah, brother, he'll hang out, drinks with you, he likes to talk, likes to, hang out and do shit. I would hang out with Roman Reigns in a heartbeat. I just don't want to watch his segments right now. They're just not good. So, I'm really, really hoping something to help him because the course they keep going, Vince McMahon's he's just 100% got in his head that he's face, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And the only way he's going to get over as a babyface is if he does like The Rock. He's got to turn heel, be so good as a heel that people start. That's what happened with The Rock. The Rock was so infinitely liked as a bad guy because he was cooler than everybody else. And that's what worked for him. But, we're going to see what happens with that. Seth Rollins, God, who's Rollins sitting up with right now? It looks like he's got an issue going with Elias, which I'm looking forward to a Rollins Elias. That could be really, really fun. Both of them good on the mic. Elias getting better in the ring. Rollins can carry someone in the ring. That's not an issue at all. That'll be good stuff. Looks like we're going to end up with a tag team title match coming up soon between the champs, is Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt, against the B team. Now, they're B because they're the best. That's why they say they're the B team. That's Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, who have kind of been more of a comedy act. And they still are, but they're getting a nice little push. We'll see what ends up happening with those guys. Ronda Rousey versus Nia Jax is getting a lot of publicity for this because it's going to be Ronda Rousey's first singles match. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle that. Because, Nia Jax kind of just went in the title, supposed to be a dominant monster, and now you're throwing out Ronda Rousey, and Ronda Rousey is supposed to be like this legitimate fighter. I'm going to be really interested to see who goes over in that match. I've got a feeling we might see a Shazam into it because I don't think you want to take any thunder off of either of those. They've been doing well. That's about all I got for this week. Both shows were decent this week. I'm waiting for Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank's always a fun pay-per-view with those two matches. So definitely looking forward to Money in the Bank coming up.
All right.
Yeah, boy.
Sounds like fun. It's
sure.
We're gonna bank on it.
Ha 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 ha! Look at you, you're funny. Good job.
Bank. Well, we're Money in the Bank. This has been another episode of the Foreign Affair Podcast. Episode 212 is just about in the books. Once again, I want to thank NGSC Sports at ngscsports.com. We never stop. You can find them on Twitter as well as us as a collective. We are at AFA Pod. Wes, you are?
I'm at Wes Bradshaw 21.
I am at Edward Green. You can also find us on YouTube. All our podcasts get uploaded to youtube.com/The All News Sports Show. That's our parent show, as well as our email address, allnewsportsshow@gmail.com. You can email us letters and questions there, as well as on Twitter. Big thanks as well to our podcast providers, including Podbean.com, Stitcher, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, the TuneIn Radio app, Google Play Music Store, and the iTunes Music Store as well. So we will obviously be back next week. We'll be talking, we'll get that Premier League top half of the bottom half of the table knocked out. We'll start talking about World Cup. We'll probably go over some rosters next week, and then the week after that, I believe, is when we'll do our big preview prediction extravaganza wonder fest.
Right, because next week all you're going to get from me is...
Oh, well, there you go. So, even better then. I will even do my own just Premier League team and review, and you can just text me your grades, and I'll read them on air. There we go.
And if there's somebody I really feel I need to come,
there you go. And I'm sure there'll be some insane Liverpool deal that happens between now and then that will give you a good Anfield corner. So do be expecting that next week, as Wes will be in parts unknown, and then the week after that it will be our World Cup extravaganza preview show, because we're just 2 weeks away from Russia 2018. Time flies when the U.S. isn't in it. So that is going to do it though for us.
Time flies when you're human.
I like how we didn't even talk about how the U.S. beat Bolivia this week, because who gives a
They
fuck?
played. They won. Good job, guys.
I also saw that Pulisic is now going to go rest up for his next campaign for the rest of the summer, and will miss out on also facing off against other minnows that are Ireland and France.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you're the United States and you want to see what Christian Pulisic looks like when playing with these other young kids against quality competition, maybe don't play him against Bolivia, and maybe play him against either Ireland or France.
Well, I mean, we still don't have a fucking...
That's true. So who really cares? It's all eyes on England, baby. All the eggs are going in that basket.
Oh, Jesus Christ, don't do this to me.
It's going to be great. We'll talk about that in 2 weeks. But, Wes, before we get out of here, is there anything else you'd like to talk about?
Baseball regionals.
Yeah.
We love baseball regionals.
That's
And
the thing.
folks, if you're in the great state of North Carolina, you don't have to drive too far to see one. We've got 3. NC State, North Carolina, East Carolina. Of course, East Carolina got hosed in theirs with their draw as they do.
Oh man, I have thoughts on Stanford's draw. Stanford's draw is horrendous.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get it. Sometimes.
We have a lot of issues. Never mind. It's
I mean,
bad.
NC State got like no one.
Well, it's
And then we end up with fucking South Carolina and USC Wilmington and Ohio State.
again and again. This will never change until they go to a 1 through 64 model. It will never change. It will always be like this because, like, I think like 2 of the best 20 teams are in Stanford's regional, and Stanford's the overall number 2 seed.
Seriously.
Like, come on, guys. Anyway, yeah. Sorry, you go ahead.
I don't know, just saying, but so if you love baseball, if you love this, is definitely a big weekend for you. If ESPN decides they want to show the games instead of just talking about LeBron James all the time.
Oh well, I mean, I think they will. They've done a really good job of showing the games like the last 5
But
years.
Ed, LeBron James is going to wake up and breathe one day this weekend. There needs to be coverage of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. LeBron James. Love him or hate him, just talk about him.
This is why we don't watch ESPN anymore. But hey, I'll watch their
Except for things like this.
yeah. When they put on every single regional game, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Hey, that's.
I mean, I watch it. Like I said, I watch it for the college baseball.
We would watch.
That's pretty much what I watch it for.
You know what I just thought about? And
What's
then,
that?
and then I promise we'll end this podcast.
It's fine.
This Real Madrid Liverpool game was the last Champions League game Fox is doing.
That's right.
Turner's
Where's it head
taking
next
over.
year? Oh, Jesus Christ. I've seen what they've done to the NCAA basketball team.
I cannot wait to hear.
Gus Johnson is back.
I can't wait to hear Charles Barkley and Shaq talk about Manchester United. Oh, it's gonna be great.
Oh, Jose Mourinho. Oh, Jose just terrible. He played a boring style of the football. I want to see the kicking and the goals and people running. Not Jose Mourinho. He's terrible.
Oh.
You know, Charles, I agree. It's bad. But you know what? They need Shaq Fu.
Oh, Pep, tell me how my ass.
And then there's Kenny Smith sitting there just holding a second. What the fuck are you two talking about? Shut up, Kenny. You short. You little looking as a little man.
Oh my God, Turner's gonna be, dude. They're gonna do a great job at the Champions League. I just know.
The best thing they can do in the Champions League is to retunnel that vision back to the early 90s when they had WCW Saturday Night.
God.
Welcome to the Champions League. I'm Tony Schiavone.
I wouldn't.
We got Neymar. We got Bobby. The Four Horsemen are here tonight.
I wouldn't be upset if they just would patch into BT Sports feed and we just got Ian Dark.
We're coming to you from Greenville, South Carolina.
Oh, for my Colin Crime West
It's
Brett
gonna be
Shaw,
great.
I'm Edward Green. Thank you so much for joining us in episode 212 of the Afford Affair podcast. Until next week, when we join you live, sort of, from parts unknown, stay safe. And I don't have, there's no football, so enjoy the college baseball.
Just think of it as an international break.
There you go.
It actually starts, because that's all it is.
There you go.
And good night, Kiev. I heard you guys were a great host.
Yeah.
I heard good things about Kiev, as long as you weren't trying to run.
Hey, nobody died as far as I know. So that's good.
Yet.
You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on ngscsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis for all things sport. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, iTunes, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, head to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop.